Hello, I'm Dr. Lavakos, and I'm going to talk about the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on international soccer, with an emphasis on the Greek experience on the top professional league. We all know how it started, but let us refresh our memory. It was December 2019 when the new virus appeared in Wuhan in China, and it spread quickly all over the planet. And in February 2020, the WHO declared a pandemic, and we all watched the scenes of panic, especially in hotspots like Milan and New York, where the corpses were loaded onto trucks. And a lot of countries went on total lockdown, and soccer events were canceled. Now, not all countries did the same. Some of them just canceled the championships altogether, and some of them just suspended it for 2 months, and then after the break, the games were resumed. We can see here, for example, New Zealand was one of the first ones to stop the championships, and then the same thing happened to Holland as well. But then again, other countries like Argentina and France, they played through another month or two. Some teams actually, like the Czech Republic here, they stopped the female championships and altogether, and they just suspended the men, gave them a break, and restarted, probably because of less attendance with the women's teams and less of a risk. Scotland played quite a long time, as we can see here, until May, declared the champion. And then England, Italy did the same with the women's teams. Now, most of the European countries, and Greece was one of them, it's right down here at the bottom, what they did, they just they opted for a break. You can see here the suspension date, what they did. They stopped the championship in the men's teams, mainly in March, and most of them resumed in May, as you can see here, or maybe beginning of June. And what actually happened, the players went home for about 2 months because in most countries there was very strict lockdown. And what we had to deal with once they got back, of course, was their level of fitness. The first lockdown was extremely strict. You couldn't go out. I mean, it was just for supermarket shopping that people were allowed to leave their homes, and for dog walking initially. After the first weeks, I mean, one could go out without a dog as well, just for physical exercise. But the initial period was very hard, and we had a huge problem at Panathinaikos because the players went home. Obviously, we gave them a home program in order to maintain some of the condition, but we had to actually monitor them, the video link. So our fitness coaches, they became experts in electronic surveillance. But, the players actually did comply. We cannot complain about that. All the teams did the same, trying to at least, maintain some fitness. But still, when the players came back, I mean, most players, they returned in a poor physical condition. And one of the next speakers is actually going to talk about it. There are quite a lot of papers in the literature, like you can see here, about, the effects of lockdown, not only physical, but also on mental health. We actually expect to see many more injuries after the return for the last 2 months of the season, but we actually didn't. I mean, there was no, the injury incidence was not higher, and this experience is shared in the literature by other countries. So it appears that this forced break actually had a positive effect on injury incidence, which was surprising. Now, what actually happened, you know, there were lots of limitations imposed by the soccer authorities and the sports authorities in each country. Access to training was limited. There was only one entrance. It was a strict control. It was just to get players